The truly frightening thing is not death or pain, but our own fear of those things. Epictetus. People often tremble not before the blade of fate, but before the shadow that their own mind projects onto the wall of life. Death and pain, in themselves, are like storms passing through the sky, fierce but finite, while fear is like fear, an endless blanket of dark clouds, obscuring the light of the present and wearying the heart, long before the real tempest arrives. We imagine countless grim scenarios, weaving them with anxiety and panic, only to be bound by the very images we create, unable to live fully in the moments we have. Fear is like an invisible prison, no bars, no locks, but strong enough to imprison the will and joy of humanity. Meanwhile, the truth is often much simpler. Pain has limits. Death is a natural law of life. Yet what exhausts us is the obsessive intents waiting before them. When we dare to look straight at what we fear, the light of understanding will gradually dissolve, the fog of panic, allowing us to realize that much of fear's power comes from us nurturing it with imagination. Once we release the trembling in our minds, people suddenly become stronger, like stepping out of a dark room to discover how gentle the light outside truly is. And in that courage, we find freedom. Freedom to live more deeply, to love more, and to face life with a serene heart. Because we understand that the most frightening thing is not the event, but how we let fear control us. Whether you feel hurt or not is your own choice. Marcus Aurelius. Hurt, seemingly like an arrow from the outside world, shot straight into our heart, but in truth, its power lies largely in how we open the door to receive it. Careless words from others are like a wind, sweeping through a field. It may shake a few weak stalks, but it can also pass without a trace if the roots are strong enough. It is our thoughts and interpretations that decide whether the pain takes root or fades away. When we cling to words that sadden us, chewing them over and over in our minds like a hard stone in the mouth, it will gradually erode joy and peace. But when we learn to let go, viewing things with a lighter distance, what seemed sharp becomes rounded and harmless. Emotions, therefore, are not entirely passive reflexes, but the result of inner choices, choosing to suffer or to grow, to resent or to understand. Like the same rain, some see it as wet and gloomy, others see it as cool and refreshing. The experience lies not in the drops, but in the heart receiving them. When we become aware of that power within ourselves, we are no longer victims of circumstances or words, but masters of our emotions and spiritual life. And from that mastery, we find a gentle strength to step through life's collisions with a calm, steadfast, and positively energized mindset. Everyone's life lies in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius. Life does not reside in the closed pages of memories behind us, nor does it dwell in the hazy dreams ahead, but breathes most clearly in the present moment, where the heart beats, where breath comes in and out, where we truly exist. Yet people often wander in the past like nostalgics, in a harvested field, regretting golden seasons that can't return, or rush toward the future like chasing a horizon that recedes further. Meanwhile, the present is like a flower blooming before our eyes, vibrant but fragile, just waiting for us to bend down and admire. Each minute now is a precious gem that time places in our hands, but if the mind is elsewhere, we will drop it unknowingly. When we learn to live fully in the moment, savoring the warmth of a cup of tea, listening to the wind on the porch, feeling the flow of life in every cell, life suddenly becomes deeper and more colorful. The present is not the void between past and future, but the only bridge connecting us to all meaningful experiences. Happiness, peace, and even growth can only sprout here. Not in yesterday that's gone, nor in tomorrow that hasn't come. When we place our whole soul in the moment we're living, each ordinary instant becomes miraculous, and we realize that life doesn't slip through our fingers, it's right here, in every breath, waiting for us to be present and cherish it. Even if your abilities are not yet sufficient to accomplish something, don't assume that it exceeds the limits of humanity. Marcus Aurelius. When standing before a task beyond our current reach, People often hastily label it impossible, as if it's the final wall of human capability rather than just a temporary boundary of our own. But personal ability is like muscle. Weak today, but potentially strong tomorrow if trained consistently. What we can't do now is not proof of impossibility, but merely a reminder that we are still on the journey of growth. Human history is written from things once deemed fanciful: flying in the sky, touching the moon, connecting the world with invisible waves. Each miracle begins with ordinary people daring to believe that limits are not fixed like stone walls, but flexible like the horizon. The further you advance, the wider it expands. When we confuse "I am not capable yet" with "humanity cannot do it," we unwittingly slam shut the door of hope and potential. But when we understand that ability can be built through learning, perseverance, and time, difficulty becomes an invitation to rise rather than a sentence of failure. Like a seed that can't become an ancient tree overnight, humans also need a process to grow strong. And it is faith in the boundless potential of progress that makes us dare to take one step, then another, until what was once beyond personal reach becomes a very human achievement, simple, persistent, and full of hope. It's not the idea, but turning the idea into reality that matters. Scott Belsky. Ideas are like seeds carried by the wind, light, abundant, and able to sprout in any mind at any time. But if we stop at dreaming, they will fall onto barren ground and fade with time. True value lies not in how many great thoughts we conceive, but in having enough patience and courage to plant, nurture, and grow them into vivid reality. Action is the fertile soil where ideas can take root, the sweat soaked into each day's work, the failures followed by standing up, fixing, adjusting, and continuing onward. A beautiful drawing only becomes a house when bricks are stacked upon each other. A brilliant dream only turns into achievement when supported by discipline and persistent effort. In this world, many people carry brilliant thoughts within them, but only those who dare to start doing truly make a difference. Turning an idea into reality is like breathing soul into a lifeless form, making what once existed only in imagination become useful, alive, and spreading value to others. When we act, even small and slow, we are building the bridge between dream and life, between possibility and result. And on that bridge, people mature, learn, and reach success, understanding that the idea is just the starting point, while the journey to make it real is what creates deep meaning for life.
Best quotes of all time, where the greatest quotes on the planet become your superpower.